So hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Question Block. And last week I asked, what is your favorite 2D Mario game prior to Wonder? And I thought this was a pretty appropriate question to ask now, since Wonder will only be releasing in a few days, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, let's go through some of the responses here. So Platy said, Super Mario World. It's very open-ended with how many different paths you can take through the game. The level design itself is stellar. Yoshi is at his best in this game, thanks to the unique powers he can use, and the Cape Feather is just the best power-up. Yeah, Super Mario World has always been up there as one of my favorites. I've actually been playing it since I was a kid, since I actually did own a couple Super Nintendo games, even though I mostly played the Wii and DS. But World, like I said, it's always been up there as one of my favorite 2D Mario games, as I played it alongside New Super Mario Bros. DS and Wii. It's just a really fun game in general. I really like the fact that there's different paths that can open up in different levels. It really expands upon the ideas that Super Mario Bros. 3 set and everything. And honestly, I feel like, at least prior to Wonder, because Wonder controls really well, I would say that Super Mario World is probably the best controlling 2D Mario game to date, before Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So, yeah, Super Mario World is just a great game in general, and I really hope we see the Cape Feather return at some point, since that's definitely a pretty cool power-up. It was going to return in Super Mario 3D Land, but they decided to put the Tanuki suit in that game instead, since they were kind of doing a big push for, like, the Super Leaf and everything around that time. But yeah. So Awesome Ocelot said, Super Mario Land 2, it's just so unique and such an underrated gem. Yeah, I really like Super Mario Land 2 as well. Definitely one of my favorite Game Boy games. And it introduced Wario, which is pretty important. And it's really one of the only times that Wario has actually been the villain in a Mario game, or even appeared in a mainline Mario game, since other than this, he only really appeared in Super Mario 64 DS. But yeah, it's really cool that they kind of brought Wario in with this game and everything. But yeah, there's so many unique level themes and designs and everything. It's just really cool. Like, there's the space world, and then there's one where you're like inside of a house and you're like small and everything. And it's just really cool. And then there's just like this giant mechanical Mario that you go through. The tree. There's so many iconic levels here. I guess iconic to whoever played them, since it is underrated compared to a lot of other 2D Mario games. But yeah, I would definitely say it's one of the most unique Mario games. I feel like Wonder is definitely kind of the most, like, I feel like Wonder is the only game that will top this in terms of 2D Mario, in terms of being, like, unique and everything. But yeah, Super Mario Land 2 is great. So the Max625 said, Super Mario Bros. 3, it is also one of my top 10 games of all time. Wonder has a lot going for it, but it will be hard to top Super Mario Bros. 3, personally. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 3 is a great game. It's definitely one of the best games on the NES, and it definitely held up pretty well compared to most games on the NES, along with like games like Kirby's Adventure, Super Mario Bros. 2, and even Mr. Gimmick, which is a personal favorite of mine on the NES. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. 3 was really revolutionary for the Mario franchise and 2D Mario. I'd argue that Mario World also is as well, but I feel like 3 kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of things that we come to expect from the Mario, like the 2D Mario games, and then even a little bit for the Mario franchise in general. There were so many enemies that were introduced. It introduced like the airships, the Koopalings, different things like that. But yeah, Mario 3, it's a pretty fun game. The only problem that I do have with it is that the level design didn't really age the best for me. I can understand the appeal behind it. Like, I can definitely understand, like, for going through the levels quickly and speedrunning the game, but personally, I prefer levels that are longer, like in later 2D Mario games, but I could still appreciate what Super Mario Bros. 3 was doing, even though I prefer the level design in other games. So yeah. So Absolute Nathan said, for me, it's World. This game was such a big leap in Mario's adventure, just like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe to Wonder. It was such a big improvement from 3 to Mario World, and the music. Yeah, the music in Super Mario World, I mean, it's definitely one of the most iconic, up there with, like, obviously Super Mario Bros. And then Super Mario Bros. 3 and 64. Yeah, that's definitely a pretty iconic aspect of Super Mario World. You even got, like, the athletic theme that's kind of become a meme because of, like, the, Siva Gunner rip of it. But yeah, Super Mario World has great music, and then on top of all of the other things I said, it's just such a great game in general. It definitely improved a lot of the aspects that Super Mario Bros. 3 introduced. It kind of refined a lot of those features, and yeah, that's another aspect that I like about that game. So, Starchronic said, I'll say New Super Mario Bros. Wii. At the time, 4-player multiplayer for a 2D Mario game was revolutionary. Tons of fun memories of me and my friends playing the game and having a wonderful time together. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun memories of playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii as a kid. It was definitely fun to kind of like speed through the game and find like the secret exits and everything. I guess that's kind of the appeal for like a lot of different Mario games, especially the older ones. But I'd say New Super Mario Bros. Wii kind of adapts that aspect of kind of going through the game pretty quickly from those older games pretty well. And then also has the refined controls of like the New Super Mario Bros. Series and everything. But yeah, it's just a really fun game overall, even though it didn't really do that much to kind of set apart its like visual style from New Super Mario Bros. DS. I still feel like it's fine for the time at least, because it was really just seen as like kind of like New Super Mario Bros. But on the Wii, with slightly different level design and things. So I feel like that having a kind of an iterative style from DS was definitely excusable at the time. Though it wasn't necessarily excusable for 2 and U, since that style was getting old at that point. But yeah, New Super Mario Bros. Wii is definitely a very fun game. So, Davey Gamer said, a mod for New Super Mario Bros. DS called Newer Super Mario Bros. DS. Yeah, I've actually played Newer Super Mario Bros. DS, and it's pretty fun. There's a lot of cool and creative ideas there. And yeah, just the newer games in general between Wii and DS are just great ROM hacks, and are definitely worth playing. And I would say they're actually up there as some of the best 2D Mario games, even though they are fan-made. Like, the music is great, the level design is great, there's so many cool ideas. Like, in newer Super Mario Bros. DS, there was like a minecart level, and different things like that. But yeah, it's definitely a great mod. So, Leaf said, Yoshi's Island. And, at first, when you say Yoshi's Island, it doesn't necessarily seem like it's a 2D Mario game, but technically, when you think about it, it's technically both a Yoshi game and a mainline Mario game. Nintendo technically confirmed that Yoshi's Island is a mainline Mario game. There was like recently like a article that they published showing like mainline Mario games that you could play on the Switch, and they said that Yoshi's Island is considered both a mainline Mario game and a Yoshi game. So yeah, but Yoshi's Island is just a great 2D platformer in general. The visual style is great, definitely one of the most impressive games on the SNES, since it kind of makes use of the Super FX chip, and also kind of has that, like, style to it that kind of looks like it's a drawing and everything. But yeah, the music is really good as well. And I'm glad that Super Mario Bros. Wonder is taking some inspiration from this game in some areas, along with Super Mario World as well. And Yoshi's Island also kind of served as the basis for the visual style for the Paper Mario series, at least for the first 3 games. So yeah, Yoshi's Island is a great game, even though a lot of people don't consider it to be a 2D Mario game. I feel like it kind of is in some ways. But yeah. So, EB the Original Master said, "My favorite 2D Mario game has to be the original New Super Mario Bros. The bosses were unique. The game has many unique gimmicks, such as the cork blocking the warp pipe with a piranha plant resting on top. And it has to be the best multiplayer mode in the entire 2D series, in my opinion. Oh yeah, with the Mario vs. Luigi mode. But yeah, New Super Mario Bros. DS is actually my personal favorite as well. For a lot of the same reasons that you mentioned. And just like, it's so unique, the level design is great, and I feel like it's much better than the rest of the New Super Mario Bros. Series. Just even like, it's even substantially better than Wii, in my opinion, because I like the kind of more compact level design and everything. But yeah, they crammed so many unique concepts into this game. Like, there's like the sewer level, there's the Snailicorns and that one snow level, there's like the balloon boos, and then there's all the unique bosses as well, like Mummy Pokey, Monty Tank, Black of Thunder, Cheap Skipper. There's so many really cool bosses here. So it's kind of surprising that they really haven't expanded upon that concept of like those unique bosses kind of based on enemies. It was almost kind of similar to Yoshi's Island with how they handled the bosses and everything. But yeah, and the power-ups are great as well. Like, the blue shell is actually my all-time favorite power-up. I know some people don't really like it, but I actually really enjoyed it. But then there's also like the Mega and Mini Mushrooms. I know those are kind of divisive, but I'd still say they're fun and kind of defining mechanics of the game in certain areas. The Mini Mushroom kind of served as like almost a pseudo hard mode for the game in certain areas, since if you beat the boss with them, you can unlock the different worlds. Even though the Mini Mushroom is a very unpopular power-up, I did think the concept of kind of defeating the bosses in a more difficult way to unlock things is a really cool concept. I do really like that. And then they also had a bunch of things from Super Mario 64 as well. Like, I mean, the entire moveset is kind of based like along both Super Mario World and Super Mario 64. Like Dory from Super Mario 64 is there. And then like things like Scuttlebugs, Skeeters, Sushi, Unagis, things like that from Super Mario 64. A lot of enemies from the game appeared here, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, New Super Mario Bros. DS is definitely my favorite 2D Mario game. And then also the thing you mentioned with the multiplayer mode, Mario vs. Luigi mode was really fun, and I really liked to play that as a kid. But yeah, so Fawful the Great 64 said, "It's really hard to define what I consider to be a 2D Mario game, but out of the mainline games, excluding Super Mario Maker, it's probably Super Mario World. Including Maker, it's probably Maker 2. I still regularly watch YouTubers casually play that game because there's an endless supply of new levels to play, making it essentially like an endless blind playthrough. I'd also like to give a shout out to some of the fantastic 2D platformers in the Mario franchise that don't necessarily fit into the mainline series though, such as Super Princess Peach, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and of course, Super Paper Mario." Yeah, Mario Maker 2 is great. Definitely one of my favorite 2D Mario games as well as one of my favorite games of all time. Though I would say it's a little bit behind New Super Mario Bros. DS, probably because the nostalgic bias that I have for New Super Mario Bros. DS, but Maker 2 is a great game. I put like nearly 500 hours into it, I believe. Maybe 400, I'm not sure, somewhere around there. It's definitely 500 if you include the first Mario Maker, but I've made a lot of levels. I've showcased a lot of levels on the channel with the Level of the Week series that I did a while ago. And it's just really fun to both make and play through levels. Because there's, like, even though the game isn't as active as it was before, there still are a lot of people making, like, levels and super worlds and everything. So it's just a great game in general to kind of get, like, a lot of that, user-created content there. But yeah, I've always found it fun to kind of create different levels and things. Like I remade scenes from the Mario movie in Mario Maker 2. That was pretty fun. Go check out that series if you haven't already. It's pretty cool. But yeah, and then the other platformers you mentioned are fun as well. I haven't played Super Princess Peach, but I've played the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and that's really good, as well as Super Paper Mario, which is one of my favorite games of all time. But yeah. So, William Slight 37 said, "Mine is Super Mario Advance for Super Mario Bros. 3. I love the original Super Mario Bros. 3. The addition of the e-reader levels, which are some of the best levels, by the way, put it over the top. Yeah, the E-Raider levels are great. Like, I really like the level of difficulty that they provide, and the level design for them is really cool. There's even some recreations of older levels, and then another really cool thing about it is the fact that it kind of mixes and matches different elements from various 2D Mario games in the Super Mario Bros. 3, like the turnips from 2, the Cape Feather from Super Mario World, and then even enemies from the different games. That was really cool. I really like that. There were even like Yoshi's Island enemies in some of these levels. It's just really cool. And I feel like those e-reader levels collectively are definitely like the most underrated 2D Mario game. If you have the Nintendo Switch expansion, like Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, I definitely recommend checking out the e-reader levels. They're really fun, and it's definitely one of the best 2D Mario experiences you can get if you played the other games. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, and I'm glad that Nintendo ported them to the Switch. So yeah. So GB said, "New Soup DS. I freaking love calling the new Super Mario Bros. Series New Soup." Yeah. While I've already talked about New Super Mario Bros. DS, I'm going to talk a little bit about the New Soup thing, because I actually have a little story about that. So, about a decade ago, I got New Super Mario Bros. 2, and I remember me and my friend were hanging out, and we were going through the 3DS menu, and we were going over the New Super Mario Bros. 2 logo, since it kind of has a little sound whenever you like select a game on the 3DS. So we just selected over New Super Mario Bros. 2 when it was like New Soup, and then we just moved the cursor away from it so it kept going New Soup. So it was pretty funny, and it was before the New Soup meme became popular, like years before that meme became popular. So that was my first experience with calling the new Super Mario Bros. Series New Soup, and I haven't stopped since then. So I guess I was a little bit ahead of the curve when calling the games New Soup. So yeah, New Super Mario Bros. DS, like I said before, is an amazing game, and is my favorite 2D Mario game prior to Wonder. And finally, Shadows of Destiny said, Super Mario Bros. 2. And I'm surprised that I haven't seen this game mentioned in any of the other replies that I've seen, or most of them that I've seen, because it's actually my favorite game in the NES trilogy, or technically tetralogy if you include Lost Levels. But Super Mario Bros. 2 USA is a really good game. It is really, kind of overlooked. Even though it is popular, I wouldn't say it's necessarily underrated. I would say it's kind of overlooked. It has completely different gameplay from most of the 2D Mario games, but I still think it's a very fun 2D platformer, and definitely one of the best 2D platformers on the NES, and I feel like it aged really well. I would even say it aged a little better than Super Mario Bros. 3, aside from the mechanics that kind of carried over into other games from 3. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2 introduced a lot of iconic enemies. Well, technically, Doki Doki Panic did, but in the Mario franchise, it introduced Pokies, Shy Guys, Birdo, different things like that. And there was also a lot of obscure enemies in the game as well, and also bosses like Mauser and different things, and Wart. Wart actually appeared in Link's Awakening remake recently, which was pretty cool. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2, definitely my favorite in the NES trilogy or tetralogy. So yeah, anyways, the next question is, what is your favorite new power-up and badge ability in Super Mario Bros. Wonder? Let me know down in the comments. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.